My beloved child, listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not just another message, it is a warning wrapped in love, a truth wrapped in urgency, and a reality that most people ignore until it is too late. Angels are fighting for you right now in ways you cannot see, in battles you do not even realize are happening, in moments where your life could have gone completely wrong but somehow didn't. And yet, despite all of this divine protection, you are slowly losing the battle yourself, not because you are weak, not because you are unlucky, but because of the choices you keep making every single day without realizing their spiritual weight. There is a war going on around you, not visible to your eyes, not heard by your ears, but deeply felt in your spirit, and every time you doubt yourself, every time you give in to negativity, every time you choose fear over faith, you unknowingly step away from the very protection that has been assigned to you. Understand this deeply, you are not alone, you have never been alone, there are forces assigned to guide you, protect you, and push you toward your purpose, but there is something dangerous happening. You are resisting your own rescue, you are blocking your own blessings, and you are delaying your own breakthrough. Think about your recent days. How many times did you overthink instead of trusting? How many times did you quit mentally before even trying? How many times did you listen to the voice that said, "You can't," instead of the quiet whisper that said, "Keep going"? That whisper is not random, that is guidance, that is protection, that is your spiritual support system trying to keep you aligned, but you keep ignoring it, you keep choosing distractions, you keep feeding doubts, and slowly, without realizing it, you start losing a battle that was already being fought for you. My beloved child, this is where everything changes if you truly understand this moment, because the problem is not the lack of help, the problem is your lack of alignment with the help you already have. Angels can open doors, but they cannot force you to walk through them. They can send signs, but they cannot force you to believe them. They can protect you from danger, but they cannot stop you from walking back into the same negative cycles again and again. And that is exactly what has been happening. You have been saved from things you don't even know about. You have been redirected from paths that would have broken you. You have been given chances after chances after chances, and yet you keep going back to the same mindset that weakens you. You keep entertaining thoughts that drain your energy. You keep surrounding yourself with influences that confuse your direction. You keep delaying the actions that could change your life completely. This is not just coincidence. This is the moment where you either wake up or continue to drift. And drifting is dangerous, because it feels harmless at first. It feels like, "They'll fix things later." It feels like, "I have time." But slowly it turns into lost opportunities, missed connections, broken confidence, and a life that feels stuck even though you know deep inside you were meant for more. My beloved child, listen to this very carefully. You are not losing because life is against you. You are losing because you are not fully standing with yourself. You hesitate when you should act, you doubt when you should believe, you wait when you should move, and every second of hesitation becomes an opening for negativity to grow stronger. The battle is subtle, it is not loud, it does not come with warnings, it slowly builds through your habits, your thoughts, your reactions, and before you realize it, you feel disconnected, confused, and tired without understanding why. But here is the truth that most people will never accept. You are more powerful than the struggle you are facing, but only if you choose to step into that power. Angels are not fighting because you are weak, they are fighting because you are valuable, because your life has meaning, because your purpose is real, and because what you carry inside you is not ordinary. But value without action becomes wasted potential. protection without awareness becomes ignored blessings, and guidance without trust becomes noise that you scroll past like everything else. You cannot keep living like this. You cannot keep expecting change while repeating the same patterns. You cannot keep asking for help while rejecting the very steps that lead to that help. This is your wake-up call, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because every moment you delay, you are choosing struggle over growth, confusion over clarity, and fear over faith. And deep inside, you know this is true. You feel it when you are alone. You feel it when you see others moving forward. You feel it when you realize you are capable of more but still holding yourself back. That feeling is not there to hurt you. It is there to guide you, to push you, to remind you that you are meant to rise, not settle. My beloved child, imagine what your life would look like if you actually trusted yourself fully, if you stopped overthinking every step, if you started taking action even when it feels uncomfortable, if you began to align your thoughts with the support that is already around you. Everything would shift, your energy would change, your decisions would become clearer, your confidence would grow, and suddenly the same life that felt heavy would start to feel like it is finally moving. Because movement creates momentum, and momentum creates results. But you have to start, you have to choose differently, you have to stop being your own biggest obstacle. Understand this deeply, the battle is not outside, the battle is within you, between who you are right now and who you are meant to become. Angels are fighting for the version of you that is stronger, braver, more focused, more disciplined, but you keep feeding the version of you that is doubtful, fearful, and stuck. And whichever version you feed more will win. It is that simple. So ask yourself honestly, what are you feeding every day? Your growth or your fear, your discipline or your excuses, your purpose or your distractions? Because that answer will decide everything. My beloved child, this is not just a message. This is a turning point if you choose to make it one. This is the moment where you stop waiting for a miracle and realize that you are already surrounded by one. Protection is already there, guidance is already there, opportunities are already forming, but you must meet them halfway. You must rise to the level where those blessings can actually reach you. And that starts with a decision, a strong, clear, undeniable decision that you will no longer be the reason you are losing. You will no longer delay your own progress. You will no longer ignore your inner voice. You will no longer sabotage your own path. Because the truth is simple and powerful. You were never meant to lose this battle, but you must choose to win it. Right here, right now. Before it becomes too late. My beloved child. Now the truth goes even deeper, because what you have understood so far is only the surface of what is really happening inside you. The real battle is not just about your actions, it is about your identity, it is about the version of yourself that you have unconsciously accepted as normal, even though deep inside you know it is far below your true potential. You have adapted to a limited version of yourself, you have become comfortable with delaying your greatness, and you have normalized confusion, hesitation, and inconsistency as if they are just part of who you are. But they are not, they are learned patterns, they are repeated behaviors, and they are the very chains that are keeping you from stepping into the life that is already trying to reach you. Angels are not just fighting for your protection, they are fighting for your transformation. They are trying to push you into a higher version of yourself, but every time you choose comfort over growth, you slow that transformation down. Understand this clearly, growth will never feel comfortable, clarity will never come to a mind that keeps running away from discipline, and confidence will never grow in a person who constantly avoids taking responsibility for their own direction. You keep waiting for a moment where everything feels right before you act, but that moment does not exist, because the truth is action creates clarity, not the other way around. And while you wait, life keeps moving, opportunities keep shifting, and time keeps passing in silence. My beloved child, this is where most people lose without even realizing it. They do not fail because they are incapable, they fail because they never fully commit to becoming who they are meant to be. They stay in the middle, not completely giving up, but never fully showing up either, and that middle space is the most dangerous place to live, because it feels safe, but it slowly steals your future. You have been living in that space for too long, telling yourself that you will change soon, telling yourself that you will become disciplined one day, telling yourself that you will take your life seriously when the time is right. But the time has always been right, the only thing missing has been your decision. And decisions are powerful, they shift your direction instantly, they change your focus, they force your mind to align with your actions. But weak decisions create weak results, and delayed decisions create missed opportunities. And right now, you are standing at a point where your next decision will either pull you forward or push you deeper into the same cycle you have been trying to escape. My beloved child, listen carefully, because this is the part that most people avoid. You cannot blame your environment forever, you cannot blame your past forever, you cannot blame other people forever. At some point you must take full ownership of your life, not because everything was your fault, but because everything is now your responsibility. And responsibility is not a burden, it is power. It is the moment where you stop waiting for external changes and start creating internal strength. When you take responsibility, your mindset shifts, your excuses lose their power, and your actions become intentional. This is where real change begins. But it requires honesty, deep, uncomfortable honesty. With yourself, where you admit the patterns that are holding you back, where you recognize the habits that are draining your energy, where you accept that some of your struggles are not because of external forces, but because of internal resistance. And once you see that clearly, everything starts to make sense. You stop feeling confused. You stop feeling stuck, because now you understand where the real work needs to happen. Inside you. My beloved child, you have more control than you think, but control requires discipline, and discipline requires consistency, and consistency requires commitment even when you do not feel like it. This is the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck. It is not talent. It is not luck, it is the ability to show up again and again even when motivation is low. Angels can guide you, but they cannot replace your effort. They can support you, but they cannot live your life for you. You must meet that support with action, with focus, with determination that does not break when things get difficult. Because difficulty is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Everything valuable requires effort, everything meaningful requires patience, and everything life-changing requires you to become stronger than your excuses. And right now, you are being tested, not to break you, but to reveal you, to show you who you really are when things are not easy, when results are not immediate, when doubts are louder than confidence. This is where your true identity is formed, not in comfort, but in challenge. My beloved child, imagine the version of yourself that does not quit, that does not overthink every step, that does not get distracted by every small obstacle, that stays focused, disciplined, and committed no matter what. That version of you already exists within you. It is not something you have to create from scratch, it is something you have to unlock. But unlocking it requires you to let go of the old patterns, the old excuses, the old mindset that has been holding you back for so long. You cannot step into a new life while holding on to the habits of your old one. Something must change, and that something is you. Your thinking, your actions, your priorities. And the moment you start shifting those, even slightly, you will begin to feel the difference. Your energy will change, your focus will sharpen, your confidence will slowly rebuild, and the same life that felt overwhelming will start to feel manageable. Because you are no longer resisting growth, you are embracing it. My beloved child, this is your moment to rise, not in a dramatic way, not in a way that depends on external validation, but in a quiet, powerful, consistent way where you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. You do not need to be perfect, you just need to be committed. You do not need to have everything figured out, you just need to take the next step. You do not need to eliminate all doubts, you just need to act despite them. Because action weakens doubt, movement creates confidence, and consistency builds strength. And as you continue, you will start to see something powerful happening. The same support that was always there will begin to feel stronger, clearer, more aligned with you. Because now you are no longer blocking it, you are working with it. And that is when everything starts to change. Slowly at first, then all at once. But it all begins with one decision. To stop being your own obstacle and start becoming your own breakthrough. Right now, that if you are still listening, then something inside you has not given up yet, and that something is the most important part of you, because it is the part that refuses to die even when everything around you feels heavy, confusing, and uncertain. It is the part that keeps pulling you back toward truth even when your mind tries to run away into distractions. And right now that part is trying to tell you something very serious. You are closer to your breakthrough than you think, but also closer to your breakdown if you continue living unconsciously, because the same unseen forces that are protecting you are also respecting your choices. And your choices determine how much of that protection actually becomes visible in your life. You have been thinking that life is random, that success is luck, that timing is everything, but what you are not seeing is that timing responds to alignment, luck responds to preparation, and opportunity responds to awareness. And when you are mentally scattered, emotionally drained, and spiritually disconnected from your own direction, you cannot even recognize the opportunities that are already being placed in front of you. This is why angels are fighting for you, not because your life is easy, but because your path is important, because there are moments you were supposed to break but didn't, there are situations you were supposed to lose but somehow escaped. There are endings that should have destroyed you but instead redirected you, and all of that was not accident, it was protection. But protection does not mean you stop growing. It means you are being given another chance to grow correctly, yet what you do with that chance is where the real battle begins. And this is the part you have to understand deeply. Because most people misunderstand spiritual support. They think being protected means nothing bad will happen, but real protection means even when bad things try to enter your life, there is a force working to minimize damage, redirect outcomes, and create second chances. But if you keep repeating the same internal patterns, even second chances start to lose their power. Because life cannot keep saving a person who keeps refusing to change the behavior that creates the same problems again and again. My beloved child, your life is not stuck because something is missing outside. Your life feels stuck because something is misaligned inside. Your thoughts are not disciplined. Your focus is divided. Your energy is leaking into things that do not build you, and your attention is being consumed by noise instead of direction. And in that state, even divine guidance feels unclear, because clarity cannot enter a mind that is constantly occupied by confusion. This is why you feel like you are almost there but never fully there, like something is about to change but never actually changes, like you are waiting for a sign but signs are already everywhere, but your perception is too distracted to recognize them. And while you are waiting, time is not waiting for you, life is not pausing for you, and opportunities are not staying in one place forever. They move with or without you, and the only thing that determines whether you move with them is your willingness to become mentally and emotionally aligned with what you are asking for. You cannot pray for clarity while entertaining confusion. You cannot ask for progress while maintaining laziness in habits. You cannot expect strength while repeatedly choosing comfort over discipline, because everything in life responds to consistency, not intention alone. Intention is the beginning, but action is the proof, and without proof, intention remains powerless. My beloved child, this is where the shift must happen inside you, not in your external life first, but in your internal identity, because right now you are trying to change results without changing identity, and that is why everything feels like effort without transformation, like movement without progress, like struggle without reward. But the moment you start seeing yourself differently, everything starts to respond differently to you, because life always mirrors the identity you consistently operate from. If you see yourself as inconsistent, life will reflect inconsistency. If you see yourself as unfocused, life will keep giving you distractions. But if you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who takes control of their thoughts, someone who does not break under pressure, then slowly your actions begin to align with that identity. And when actions align, results cannot stay the same. This is not magic, this is alignment, this is discipline, this is inner restructuring. And yes, it is uncomfortable in the beginning, because your current mind will resist change. Your old habits will try to pull you back. Your comfort zone will try to convince you that later is safer, but later has already taken too many opportunities from you. And if you keep trusting later, you will keep losing now. My beloved child, there is something very important you must realize. Angels are not only protecting your future, they are also observing your willingness. Because willingness is what determines how far guidance can actually take you. If you are unwilling to move, even the clearest signs will feel confusing. If you are unwilling to act, even the strongest motivation will fade quickly. But if you become willing, truly willing, then even small signs start to feel powerful, even small actions start to create big changes. Because willingness activates alignment. And alignment changes everything. Your thoughts begin to stabilize, your decisions become clearer, your distractions lose power, and suddenly the same life that felt chaotic starts to feel structured again, not because external circumstances changed, but because you changed internally. And that is the real battle you are in. Not against people, not against situations, but against your own internal resistance to becoming disciplined, focused, and consistent. And once you understand that, you stop blaming life and start shaping it. You stop waiting and start building. You stop reacting and start directing. And that is when you finally realize that you were never losing because you were unsupported, you were losing because you were not fully participating in your own transformation. But the moment you begin participating fully, even in small ways, everything begins to shift around you. Slowly at first, almost invisibly, but then unmistakably. Because when a person finally aligns with their purpose, even delays start turning into setups, even confusion starts turning into clarity, and even past failures start turning into lessons that strengthen the next step forward. My beloved child, this is your turning point, not because everything will suddenly become easy, but because you will finally become aware enough to handle what is already yours. The angels are still fighting, the guidance is still present, the protection is still active, but now the question is no longer about what is happening around you. The question is, what are you finally going to do with what has always been happening for you?